The Anima Cup has concluded, and what an exciting tournament weekend it was. Across all regions, many lines found success from the correct spots. Niche optimizations shown by these top tier players, and outplays performed through positioning, itemization, and line selection. But to top it all off, these final lobbies were something spectacular. EU being won by a 3-star 5 cost, and this, the NA one, well, the situation in the game is right now that every single player is in check, meaning they are going to be taking risks to try to go for that first place finish and win out the tournament and advance to the Worlds. Now, the player we're jumping in game here is K3 Soju. He already has secured his world spot, but nonetheless is trying to play for that win. We are playing here around our Stargazers, and we are on the Altar Stargazer. We have a sword, so definitely considering a possibility for an AD line, opting to also to make 10 instead of holding on to these Timebreaker units. And another point I wanted to quickly show here is that if we look at the match history here, going in throughout the tournament of this weekend, Soju did not place a first on single time, apart from this final lobby where he won the game that mattered the most. So let's see what allowed him to succeed in such a high volatility environment where everyone's trying to gain an edge and take big risks to secure a win out. We have opted to make 10, therefore we are probably going to be playing from a weak opener. Something that we could be considering here is the Xayah line, but we do not have a bow, so we're hoping that these component anvils can provide that for us. And if we upgrade the talent, we have a potential, have the bastions as well to pair, we have a potential to spike our board if we high roll our shops. Going in here, Golden Gamble is something that would be strong if we had that strong board, especially on, well, it's 4 component counter start, so not the highest of upsides, but if we had a strong board, this is something you can consider. Prismatic Ticket, you would have to be gambling for a 3-cost line. Obviously, something like a Samira Ord in the current meta could outwin with it, but you can expect that players might be holding onto your units. And Lulu on the altar is playable, but is going to have tough time securing that first place. Fortune Strike though has an immense upside. If you hit something like a Titanic Hydra for the Xayah unit, it's amazing. And has definitely that win out potential. This gives you the ability to play from this weak opener and look to spike your board. Absolutely insane item augment. Obviously Living Forge is a little bit better, allowing you to tempo more neatly, but nonetheless this is going to be a stronger loss streak augment than the comeback story right here. Xayah likes this one, gives that attack speed, gives the HP to increase your frontline durability, plays neatly into that scaling game style, but does not have a prominent line such as for example Warwick from last set. Xayah is probably the better ones. Master Yi comes to mind as well. We Stick Together, unfortunately, is simply undervalued. We could find an emblem that understated, that is. It's not great, let's just say it like this. The attack speed buff is not that huge, and the emblem could throw us off. But the issue with Forging Strength is that our artifacts are completely random, and we have not gotten a Reforger. You definitely are more inclined to click this when you have a Reforger than just Lost 3. But Versus Obsession is something that can provide a scaling as well. Going to pop our anvils and do not see a bow, so I believe a cloak here. We find that Kraken. That one Kraken is going to be nice, but we would ideally find at least 2 more bows somewhere. And since we do not have Carousel Prio, well, we have to just gamble to our gods and hope that the component anvils are going to be kind to us. The sword definitely can transition either into another GS if we must, or a Deadblade. Jin absolutely loves that Deadblade and IE combo. Going to be looking like he's locking in the Xayah board, and interesting to note, he's slotting in the Mordekaiser, which is a nice thing to hold on to. Samira to transition into your Jin. These are definitely units you should be considering playing around, especially if you find that upgraded Nunu going into that stage 4 as your primary tank. Then the Mordekaiser is immense value, providing you the possibility to have those vanguards and neatly transitions right into that Jin once you hitting even a single 1-star copy, but we're not going to be holding on to it right now. Simply going to make our econ threshold is something we have to worry about later. Plus, TK2 is going to be a stronger tank than the Nunu 2 if we are going head to head. Queuing into the Setsuko, who is playing around Tay3, has hit that Space Grove emblem there, has Shepherd, and Anima is the worst emblem, but Shepherd, he has playing neatly around it right now, playing around that item tempo provided there. Our gods are Yasuo and Varus. The 2 tiny duplicators would give us a possibility to spike, but I don't think that's a worthwhile investment. Cosmic Hex here, we could just start stacking this Jax for now. He's going to be sticking on our board, and if we high roll one of our 4 quests, provide even more frontline, I believe lining ourselves with Yasuo here is just going to be more play. We are playing for that loss streak, do need to be pushing, no need to push tempo, especially since it's a prismatic opener. We can expect that there are going to be players playing around high tempo. Miss again on another bow, but we were able to pick up a sword, which is the second best pickup we probably could get. Simply have to have to be cautious in this kind of a situation about our item picks here, that we do not overflood ourselves and leave ourselves without tank items going to the stage 4. Interesting also that he's putting the Cosmic Hex in the middle. Perhaps this allows him to more leeway to reposition in the later stages of the game. We are fine to be generally having our biggest tank in the middle, and this is going to be quite flexible for ourselves, even though we're going to be losing a little bit of value right now. Frontlining that Caitlyn there, I also just noticed as possibility to maybe just ensure that we are loss streaking. I'm not sure, has he scouted around? It seems as Marcel might be contesting a loss streak as well. So yeah, we're going to be going with some funky positioning right there. But we have to play our units, and now we're going up against Marcel as well, also playing around that tray tree. So let's see, have a similar board, but we simply have a little bit too much damage. We have those 2 talons that are going to break our loss streak, which is quite crucial for ourselves, because we want to have that extra Econ lead going from this loss streak, so we can hard stabilize our board. Find a LeBlanc in shop that we cannot really be playing around. You are not too excited to be making Rageblade for Xayah. She's rather would have red buff and double Kraken. If you can't make red buff, just make double Kraken and then like a damage item. The Rageblade simply does not provide the AD she needs. Get our 2 anvils, not holding on to popping them now, and opting to level to 6 here. Perhaps considering maybe, hey, we won this round, maybe we have some possibility to miss on the bows again, going for tank components. Right, have Protector's Vow. Maybe we're going to prio Sunfire. No, yeah, we have to make both. That's great. But he seems that let's assume that he was prioing the Protector's Vow. Great item for you, Nunu. TK can utilize it quite neatly. And now our win streak does get broken. We slammed our full items. Ladder Slayer here, breaking it for ourselves. On the next augment, and it's also a prismatic. This lobby is something once in a lifetime. Every player in check, I think that has happened in NA only a couple of times, and having double prismatic is insane. Now, since we are going on a mixed streak, something like Hedge Fund, which you would generally fare away from on this kind of a on 3-2, is actually quite appealing for us. I believe we are looking for anything that is econ related. Sword Overflow, otherwise quite neat in this comp, has that attack speed there. Jhin can easily rock double DB and the IE. And Baron's Lair is a strong combat augment, definitely to consider, but we are a mixed streaking. We definitely are looking for a potential to spike. We want econ and sword overflow. We are going to have items inbound from these artifacts. It's just simply going to provide us with too many items. Now, Tiniest Titan, we have to see, evaluate. Obviously, Hedge Fund is going to be more gold, and it's both of these augments are going to be locking ourselves in the loss streak. So simply, which one is going to provide us the higher upside? This has been nerfed. I believe it was 15 gold going into the set. So, but 2 gold per turn is also quite big, so we could consider it just to be at like 7 interest plus 10 gold, but well, this is just more raw gold in the stats, not having the healing. So he's believing that he's going to have the possibility to rebound himself right away. Radiant Rascal Glove, generally decent if you have extra carry. Something like a Blitz, for example, that is the cap of this line, could use it, but again, we are going to be having a lot of items. We're looking for econ, and they're going to evaluate that Hedge Fund is going to be stronger econ option. We are fine to make 80 here. We have leveled up, and we are completely fine to be sitting on level 6 throughout the rest of the stage. Going in here against CMBQ, trying to tempo around that birthday present, and has picked up 1 overflow to synergize with his tempo plan. Unfortunately, it hadn't worked out exactly. He's now level 7, but at 76 HP, finds that Rastu there, which is actually a decent pickup, I believe, for his spot. We have to keep tabs on the rest of the lobby. Cambuly and Dishsoap streaking, and Setsuko here has Cursed, Crowned, and Anima now. This is a interesting spot to be considering. Well, he's going to have the tempo now. Probably maybe getting 100 Anima cash just for some resources. We immediately stop Storm Hex. If to just explain, this thing is absolutely nutty on Jhin. Xayah is fine to be having it, but then Jhin is just going to be able to pretty much board stun the whole board at the same time, while as all 2-cost units, the 2-star 2-cost, we're not excited about that. Finally find another bow on a Nunu. That is massive for ourselves. Now we're just hoping to find either another bow or a Kraken to sort out our Xayah. Ideally, we'd also find something of a Reforger to perhaps have these artifacts sorted out. Going to start stacking the new... Well, thankfully you cannot stack your hexes, and that was probably just a bait for his chat, but we have to lock in a side perhaps right now. Later on we're fine to be moving Jhin and Xayah across all around, since we have that board wide Sander from Aatrox. Into Dishsoap here, who has also been streaking a birthday present, a flashback to how he won one of his worlds. But is he going to have a higher cap? The issue now with the birthday present has been that it simply does not achieve that higher of the caps. He's in a prime position to be playing in some form of a 5-cost board, but it's the cap it offers is simply a weaker of an econ option. But he is in a prime spot, so might be one of our final bosses going in. We have picked up a collector. Blighting Jewel is just is overstated in terms of AP because there's not many good users in the stats in the game right now for the mana reduction effect. Therefore, it's just going to be fine for our Blitzcrank if we're able to get there. That's a big if. And that frontline artifact is completely fine, sorts our frontline itemization out. And then we can just have the Varus. Yeah, if we just find one more component here for our backline, we are completely fine. Find another bow, but we have that Sunfire now, so we're probably going to be going with the Kraken, and now big roll down coming in. Opted to go for 4-1, have to be pretty much on 1 life, have to make this play, picking up the Samiras, finally find a single Xayah. Our altar has procced in exactly in time, so that's great. Opted to make that Mordecai as a 2 just so that we can have some form of a front line, and upgraded the Samira to item hold. We want to be as strong as possible, opting to slam a GS. Perhaps could have improved our itemization a little bit more by having 2 Krakens onto the Xayah, but we are going to sort that out later. Simply have to make the slams and able to rebound ourselves with a win here. For our final augment, we are looking at anything that's going to allow us to stabilize here, try to go for a win out and fish for upgrades. We are not that poor, we're still at 30 gold, and Retribution, we are quite low on items. I don't think we want that. Commerce score though is definitely not appealing. If we are going to just take items, and we can figure something out with it. Bronze for life is interesting choice though. We have that Rast, that perfect, well, we do not have a Rast yet. Yeah, we're playing this Mordekaiser over the Rast for now. Otherwise, we have 6 trades going on. And that is the magic breakpoint for Rust as well. So I would imagine the Bronze for Life would be quite fine as a default option. Also allows us to get that combat power that we're looking for. Soul Awakening, I believe, might be a strong option as well, but we're going to value that more. On Earths is Gombo items, we have no use for the Spatula. Find that TK2, so now hopefully our frontline is going to be stable. TK2, Xayah 2 should be quite strong. Have to get rid of this Blighting Jewel. Quite aggressive on our room movers here, but we simply have to make these plays happen. Now we have to make a clean itemization going on here. Blighting Jewel, alright, we're going to toss that on, just simply have some AP for that guy. Do not have a user really yet, and these Samira items are going to transition onto the Jhin nicely. Did not high roll a Jhin yet. That is what truly makes this board stabilize quite hard, but Xayah is going to be fine with that Hex, and God Collector is also obviously amazing for her. One of the best artifacts generally to be playing around. Slotting in that Rust, having more resistances on our front line, and we're going to be stacking up this TK with the HP buffs. Have picked up a Blitz and going to be opting to hold onto it, even though we could have made a decon threshold before. If I did not exactly notice that, opting to slot in the Blitz as well instead of this Rust. It should be more value, should be more power on ourselves, and since the Blitz is so contested of a 5 cost, it's nice that we are able to secure him right away. Holding on to Morgana. Morgana is a decent substitute for this Rust as well, especially if you're able to 2-star her. Starlight Hex. Could this be decent on a Jhin just to get his cast out? No, for Jhin we're going to be generally having that Storm Hex right there, I would imagine. So perhaps we have to pick up the Super Parting Gifts, and we can, since I believe we are still on the lowest HP threshold, just quickly checking here. But he is on the lowest. We have the potential to just high roll a double Jhin right there. I'm not sure who we're going to utilize the Starlight Hex. Perhaps on a Nunu? Just simply get him casting more often? That would be a possibility. But he is 1-star at the moment. Going to be going with the Super Party. Find that Jhin! The K3 Soju special right here coming out. And we are immediately ditching this Samira, getting that Jhin in there. Are we going to be swapping the positions to have this Storm Hex onto the Jhin right away? Yes, we are. I'm going to split our damage. Might be a little... The issue with this positioning is that we might struggle with some Giga Tanks if they're placed right in front of our Xayah right now. But since most of Jim's damage is AoE, it's completely fine and can be neglected. We have that Blitzcrank there to support against those tanks as well. Quite a lot of gold coming in from this collector, and we are very rich. We can greed. You have to remember, we have that hedge fund we're not going to greed. We're going to immediately push levels and find a Blitzcrank pair. Alright, yeah, simply valuing the high tempo, respecting his opponents. Dishsoaps still at 90 lives here with that birthday present, probably starting to sack against Cambu Lee, who has went also for a pretty strong Yi setup there with that Brawler emblem, but unfortunately his items haven't worked out fully, and we are able to stop him there with that Tom Kench too as well. Now would be probably fishing either for a frontline item or another item for a Blitzcrank. I believe that last one was kind of clickable. So now we have the are we just going to make a Morello? Seems it's a fine item for a Blitzcrank, but we have the Sunfire already there. And then a Gunblade maybe? Or we can have this Warmogs and move off the Protector's Vow. But we are out of removers to really do that. Hoping to downgrade our Jhin so we like move the one Jhin off so we can get this Gunblade on him. And have the GS for our Blitzcrank. That's an interesting pickup to do so as well. CMBQ here trying to play around some form of a Space Groove line. Has that scaling from the Graves, but not really being able to hit. We find the Jhin 2 with our free rerolls from the TK. And now definitely we can contest this win out. Still stuck on Nunu 1 just so due to how contested he is. And Dishsoap here with a Graves too from the previously the birthday present. And with a cool and build and a Dawn Core. That is extremely strong setup. He is able to get somewhere. Now his issue is again also that front line. Playing around that Nunu. We are able to storm him over before this Graves is absolutely able to pop up. But he has that HP elite to still try to buff him up even more. We'll have to see how that works out for him. If he's not able to stabilize his front line, he might be in deep troubles as we have so much damage profile on our board. We have the stuns to further even delay. We have the way to deal with tanks through this Blitzcrank as well. And now Cambu Lee's Brawler board here still stuck on tanking that Maokai. He does not get the wrap, is stuck on our front line. And we are picking up an easy win, and he's close to dying there as well. The top 4 is closing in for ourselves. We do not really have open item slots, so perhaps we're just fishing now for Nunu items. Would it be ideal if we had a remover to be utilizing? Find that Nunu too as soon as a player playing Nunu has died. Find the adaptive helm to be tossing on our Nunu as well, and opting to go for last second swap. Not going to be greeding the HP anymore, just want to protect our Xayah as best as we can, and as well as the Blitzcrank. Against the fast 10 board pretty much from Ladder Slayer. Has hit that Vex, but as there's a TG and playing around Bard. And we make an easy clean of him, able to finish him off. Simply did not have that much combat power. That what we do. These items from these artifacts have worked out quite neatly. And we have that Bronze for Life to further buff up our board. And opting to not play around that. Oh, we have the Rust. Is there any way we could maybe squeeze another trait? We could through the... we have the Mordekaiser on our board. Just looking to play another sniper, it seems. He wants the more damage amp. Well, could be any Darkstar unit really, but no Darkstar unit fits in quite nicely. So yeah, just sniper here for damage amp. Have the Groovy in there from the Samira. Hoping to roll now on the neutrals for Blitz 2 before other players are perhaps sending it. We can see that Dishsoap might want to be playing around that Blitzcrank, and Cambu Lee here has also put up a very strong board. Let's see how we fare. Are we able to push 10? We are. Single roll. That's completely fine. And now the Dishsoap scaling, but I believe he's still stuck there on the Nunu. One finds the Blitzcrank 2 on his part. Able to move the items here, just picking up mana item for our Blitzcrank, and against this Cambu Lee's board, who has managed to transition onto that Fiora too, so it seems he fared quite strong against other matchups. Has that Radiant Kraken for the Kindred, which is also quite strong, and we are able to easily pick up a win against the Ghost fight. And Dishsoap is going to clean off the reel, so we are in a 1v1 against Dishsoap, a player K3 Soju has been preparing with together. Now we simply have to stall. We have to make sure that his Blitzcrank here with double Nashor's JG combo, which is very strong, does not clear ourselves. And we are hoping for good Nunu ults right here. Trying to hover scout, evaluating that definitely having the tank in the right position is going to work well. Dishsoap has that Maokai in front of our Xayah, but it's not going to be that strong. He's still stuck on Nunu 1. The Nunu ult from our side hits the Graves and is able to stall long enough, and it's not even close. K3 Soju absolutely runs over the lobby from the Xayah win out spot and secured himself another victory. This is the reason why I said sometimes with the birthday present, when you're so inclined to be pushing levels, you simply do not have the front line secured for ourselves, and that was definitely detriment to him. Also, your item slams might not work out. Interesting, he opted to go with that Blitzcrank 2, valuing him stronger carry than the Sona 2 right here. Otherwise, stuck on pairs of frontline, what can you do? Definitely has a strong combat presence as well through the sweet treats and belt overflow, synergizing there quite nicely. Otherwise, extremely well played spot by K3 Soju, identifying the possibility to play for Lost Streak with a strong augment, offering a high potential upside if you are able to hit usable artifacts. Despite not hitting a Reforger, we were still able to make them work quite neatly, especially picking up this Collector was amazing for ourselves. Identified that then we needed Econ and combat power to spike our board on 4-2. Despite not having the cleanest of the rolldowns, we were able to still find a frontline upgrade, find a backliner who was uncontested, and streak off from that, nicely managing our recon, making it to level 9, and then securing our upgrades through Jun 2 as well. And at that point we were ringing bells for the rest of the lobby that it's coming to a close. I would like to thank you for watching. I have used this tournament to update my meta sheet with the latest meta from the developments that we had in the tournament below. Cheat sheets for other comps are coming soon. I have for you in mind. If you have any others that you would like me to make, also please leave a comment down below. And I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one.